Thank you to our GI Joburg supporters for supporting our Patreon and YouTube membership. You help keep the lights on and the wheels turning. Yo Joe Berg. And now for our show.
Yo, Joe, and welcome to episode 386 of GI Joburg. My name is Steve. I'm joined by Paul and Rob. Hello, boys.
Hey, boys.
Whoa! It's us. It's all three of us together again, ready for another episode of GI Joburg. Hope you guys in the audience are ready because we're cracking on today. We're discovering comic books. Whoa! Apparently, GI Joe makes comics, guys. It's pretty cool.
They still make comics.
It's about bloody time, GI Joburg got a handle on the EU, the Energon Universe depiction of GI Joe. So, for those of you who have absolutely zero fucks to give about this particular comic book series, maybe just listen to us academically, just to show some love, support the show. I don't know. You're more than welcome to tune out if that's not your thing. If you are in the trenches of the EU at the moment and are either loving it, hating it, or indifferent, this is the podcast for you. We might have some varied opinions on the subject. I don't know. I haven't canvassed you guys at all. So this is going to be interesting.
It will be.
And none of us have said anything. We haven't been like, oh,
we have been
like it or hate it. We've just been like, we read it. We did our homework.
Talked around this topic. We've talked about basically everything else. Like we were like, whoa, comics. Oh, by the way, the new classified figures. Oh, what are those like? Let's not have our opinions about.
Let's talk about 80s and 90s movies that are like GI Joe. All of the above. Look, cards on the table, everyone. We're going to go full spoilers right from the beginning. So if you have an interest in reading this comic book series, if you're maybe waiting for a trade paperback or the second trade, if you're holding off, then punch out now.
Do it. And for
you're only going to be warned once.
We'll be talking 6, 7. We're talking about the FCBD Energon Universe special issue. We'll be talking 8 and 9 as well. So there's the end of this previous arc. There's a standalone issue in there. Ooh. And the start of the new arc. So
where do we want to begin, gentlemen?
I think we should just start at 6, I think, and then just go through and see where we end up.
That is a good place to start. Because, 6, by the way, is
the
end of the previous arc.
Yes.
Cobra Commander's big plan to detonate a brain bomb in Washington, D.C. A brain bomb powered by Energon and a mysterious shard that Cobra has recovered. Piece of technology. Anyways, Dr. Monev, which is Venom, is chiefly responsible for this tech, who Cobra had kidnapped to that point. And spoilers, he gets his head blown apart. Presumably, it's off camera, but like Duke's response is it doesn't leave much to the imagination. Cobra Commander just blasts the guy.
Yeah, Cobra Commander's like, the sacrifice has to be made to stop this machine. And if you're not going to do it, Duke, I will. I'll stop this machine from working by killing Venom. Pop, pop.
Pop, pop.
And it's one of those
mega beam.
Those moments where, like, yeah, Cobra loses, but Cobra Commander sort of says, it showed me everything I needed to know about our forces. Like, he's kind of, he's painting
it's fine. I didn't actually lose, guys. This is all part of the
I didn't
plan.
really mean to detonate the bomb anyways. Like, this is a win for us.
And once again,
that's a tired trope.
Just a reminder to visit Cobra Commander's Leadership and Optimism Seminar, because the man is an eternal optimist. He really knows how to turn a shit situation upside down. You know,
Optimist Prime.
He's Optimus
But
Prime.
He has now detailed to his number 2 man, Destro, that yes, robots, sentient transformers walk amongst us, and this is the new hot shit. This is what the next war is going to be about. So best we get on top of this stuff. You, me, and what's left of Mars and Cobra. So that's 6. Oh, epilogue. My favorite bit, because
yes,
I knew what was up immediately. The first panel we saw a Willys Jeep with that specific configuration, with the star on the fender, with the little kind of indent where Hound's head emerges. I mean, like, Hound is my favorite of the G1 car robots, right?
Oh, okay.
absolutely, like head and shoulders above everyone else. No one comes close. I guess it's just because it's a smaller car. It is very heavy on the die cast, very heavy on the chrome. It is a beautiful, beautiful toy, in spite of the fact that his arms are so peepee that he can't even get his hands out from underneath the fenders. Anyways, I knew that was Hound as like on the page turn before we had transformed or anything. I was like, yeah, come on. Pay me those member berries. I want my fan service delivered straight into my plate. Delicious. But great reveal. How did you guys find it?
Yeah, I was also a fan. I like this issue was cool. I really like this whole line of GI Joe comics. I don't know why. I don't know why it takes me forever to read them. If you know, like not to read them. I mean, I can but why I take forever to get around to reading them because I really enjoy it every time I open one of these books. And yeah, the little epilogue at the end, as you mentioned, is awesome. And it is great to see Hound, and it's a great like spoiler, but segue for not the next issue, which was pretty cool, I thought. And I also appreciated some of the dialogue actually in this book was quite interesting because Cobra Commander is kind of playing it a bit like like a bit of a Hannibal Lecter kind of character. He wants somebody to kind of go up against him, which I think is kind of interesting. Like he's like, oh, you would make a formidable opponent, Duke. It's almost as if he's like not completely sure of what he's doing, or maybe like what I would like to believe is that he's fully aware of the fact that he has no moral center and that he needs to get his moral center externally. And so he just believes he's a force of nature and he needs another force of nature to sort of guide him in a moral way. Because I think there is a part of Cobra Commander that like intellectually doesn't agree with what he's doing. I'm not saying he's a good guy. I'm just saying that I think he just knows that he's a force of nature. And I appreciate that. Or at least I feel that coming from this book. And I also enjoy the way the story is told. It feels very I don't want to go and say it feels very grown up, but it feels like a cartoon for grown-ups, if I can put it that way. Like there's a bit of there's a seriousness to it, but it's still fun. It's still got a bit of pop to it. But yeah, Rob, what did you think, my dude?
Yeah, Hound's reveal was incredible. I enjoyed being able to like see him added into the EU. I mean, we've had obviously some of the other main players revealed in Transformers. Optimus Prime, Starscream, Megatron, et al. But yeah, Hound was always been a cool little car. I obviously we haven't seen my favorite car yet, whatever his name is. That funny little car. I love
Skids.
him so much. Skids, yeah, my favorite.
Oh, the Honda City.
I hope he'll enter the universe at some point. But yeah, at least we got Hound in there so far. And yeah, I take your points, Paul. I think Cobra Commander is kind of enjoying being able to kind of grandstand. Obviously, he has his plans. His whole thing is revenge against Cobra Law. And I suppose everything else is kind of like ancillary to that and what he wants to kind of achieve. And of course, his fascination. I like that he's fascinated with the robots and he wants to learn more. He wants to like know what these things are and get an upper hand. And
quite literally, his Cybertronian tech hand. Now, he does play that classic supervillain trope of like, you're just like me, Duke. We both, had our backs turned on us by our superiors have turned their backs on us, tried to betray us. But unlike you, who just kind of put your tail between your legs and came back into the fold, I've decided to just create something new. Yeah, it's strong. I do like that Cobra Commander is a competent soldier and scientist, and like he absolutely is a boss battle. Like he's the end level, well, no, end game boss. Like Duke goes through all the lackeys, Mercer again, the trade blows. Destro's kind of in the mix there, Scrapvine if you want to count him, Chameleon, all the levels, and then Cobra Commander holds his own with swords, with his freaky I don't know, repulsor, claw blaster. Strong. And you're right, Paul. It absolutely is a cartoon for grown-ups because there is a sense of loss, but the Joes are still able to defy overwhelming odds, like under hails of automatic gunfire, able to subdue cobras with their bare hands, take their weapons, and basically fight a battle from inside this Mars headquarters, which is astounding and very 1980s action tropey.
Yeah, they were completely outnumbered.
shot.
In those previous issues, completely outnumbered. Duke was like living on a prayer. You know, he was like, something's going to happen to save us here. And then, of course, you know, Clutch comes in at the last second there in the previous issue to kind of like save them. So yeah, it's very it's heightened reality, and yeah, I think it does have the cartoon feel to it. Because in cartoons, things can just happen. You know, more so
I
than
find myself getting annoyed when they do try and like invoke some realism, because you know we're very close to red and blue lasers. I mean, there are blue lasers in this thing, so this need for like training exercises and cat and mouse things, like none of the strategy that is employed is realistic to me. It doesn't ring true. Like they've had some kind of military advisor on any of this stuff. But that's the world of funny books.
Yeah,
so
well,
where do we go next? Do we go to Free Comic Book Day, or do we go into
we go there.
issue?
We got to go there. We got to go there because. But can I, guys? I feel like this is a nice like sort of thing just to talk about these books overall, just quickly before we go to Free Comic, because there's a lot I want to say about the Free Comic Book Day book, or issue. But I love the art in this comic. I love the layouts. I like everything that's done here, and I feel like that needs to be said. And hopefully this gets heard by the people who are involved in creating this book. But I absolutely love the art of this line of GI Joe comics, the GI Joe 2024, GI Joe Energon. There's something about it that's just really speaks to me, really works. It looks fun, and for me, at least for my money, it always gets me wanting to draw something from this. You know, I always, it makes right. It's just got a cool
see
vibe.
My doodlings.
So good.
No, but it's just there's a style to it, and I love that they're going there. And I think that's what also adds to the sort of, dare I say, kind of cartoon-esque feel, which I think is only a win for this book because of the dramatic colors and the strong design. Especially that final reveal of Hound. It's I love those colors.
Yeah, kicks ass.
So dramatic, man. But yeah, that throws us into, or throws us right into the Free Comic Book Day issue, which is magical. I'm sure you guys agree. We get a continuation of Clutch and Hound's first encounter. But Steve, you're a big fan of Hound, so I feel like I feel like I'm stealing your air by talking about it. So go for it, my dude.
Don't you dare talk about Hound when Steve's in the room. You heard it here.
Well, you've teed me up, so I'll just say this much. This is the perfect example of why I wish the GI Joe Transformer crossovers were less trying to adapt GI Joe and Cobra vehicles to fit Transformers, and more about just making the Transformers in a scale that can interact with GI Joes. To wit, an instant purchase for me would be a Willys Jeep that transforms into Hound, that you can get a Clutch figure that can fit into. Like, I appreciate getting Ore Strikers and His Tanks. I appreciate far less getting Thunder Machines and Triple Ts, because in my mind, those are one-off vehicles. So Army Builders are fine. Unique vehicles, not so much. But the Transformers themselves have signature alt modes, and to really do justice to the Transformer, give us those alt modes. Like, particularly the more military alt modes. Like, Hound is the perfect candidate for a completely unique Transformer GI Joe crossover, i.e. one that is G1 Hound. Another one that fits the mold, I guess, is the entire, like, Combaticon team. I'd flip my lid if they ever got as far as doing a Seeker, because GI Joe's never had an F-15. Oh, man. The mind races. But that is a topic for another time. And I think we've actually addressed it.
We have
back when
explored
the-
this. Yeah, I'm getting deja vu right now.
When the
Steven saying,
crossover
"Hounds
was
to be in
young.
G.I. Joe."
Yes. And I mean, an eco striker that is Beachcomber, that's too easy. Why we have an ore striker that is Bumblebee? I'm scratching my head right now, literally. Anyway.
It's a fun toy.
Hound needs help. And what do you do when you're in the desert? You somehow mystically are able to happen upon Matt Tracker, one of Clutch's
Hey.
buddies. Like
Madness. Yeah.
within like, did he drag Hound there behind the
He
vamp?
did. I think if you look at the images, yeah, he did. There's a tow hook between the vamp and the kind of the wreck of a hound as he kind of half transformed and couldn't like finish.
So
So you can see the
I mean,
tow hook.
I don't think it's practical to be like dragging like a heap of Autobots across the desert for too far. Was Matt Tracker's like hideout just around the corner from the pit?
Happened to be in the same area. That's cartoon logic for you.
There we go, Paul.
Anything
we're
that's
back
near
in-
you, there it is.
Thumbs up.
Yep, it's just like Sunbow, where like a Cobra base is but a quick mauler or vamp drive away from GI Joe headquarters. Like you can
Yeah.
always you're within striking distance of your enemy at all times. Similarly, you're within distance of help. Matt Tracker is, as you can expect, some kind of mechanical engineered savant. He's got his own irons in the fire, but he's perfectly au fait with Cybertronian, so he's able to help Hound.
And
Also
it's cool
Clem-
because they're setting him up as they give enough mystery to the character because he's like, I'm kind of familiar with this tech, but they don't explain why. And you kind of see him working on his helmet and is kind of on the workbench there. You can kind of see his helmet in the background. So they are kind of setting him up as a character of interest. And I think that it's also, I suppose, like a back end way of kind of being like, hey, would people be interested in a mask series or something or introducing this character into the other titles in some way?
Yeah, there's this clever thing they do, Rob, just to go with what you're saying, where when Clutch is leaving and he goes like, and Tracker sort of says, like, don't tell anybody, you saw me, like, or it goes, don't tell anybody, or I'll have to kill you if I tell you, about the secrets, like, how does he know this stuff? But later when he's leaving, he's like, don't tell anybody you saw me. And I think it's such a clever piece of writing because it's kind of reverse psychology for the reader, because now that's what the writer wants. And they want people to talk about Matt Tracker being in this book, as we are now. Which I think is quite a fun little fourth wall kind of semi-meta thing. I also thought the idea of Matt Tracker being like having an ethnicity swap, him being a black guy, I think is great. Because it's cool to not have another blue-eyed, blonde-haired dude, which would easily get confused with Duke.
Yeah, for sure.
So I thought that was quite clever.
I wouldn't credit Skybound with that, bud.
No, but
that happened about a decade ago.
Yeah, but it's my first time in encountering it like this. Like, I haven't really seen Matt Tracker since they did a toy of him.
Yeah, the cartoons, really.
Yeah, and they did that toy for the 25th anniversary of him.
I'm still annoyed that in our Annihilator chat, we didn't mention the fact that 25th anniversary Matt Tracker came with a green Annihilator backpack.
Yeah, but it made no sense. Why would we mention
Well, it made some sense, because Condor is a mask vehicle, and it's a helicopter bike. I mean, it's not Matt's vehicle, but
yeah,
it's
I
a
suppose
nice
it's like
nod.
it's like an Easter egg. Yeah, it's like, oh, remember this other thing? We got close to giving it to you.
Well, that was them giving us everything they could give us from the mask, from the world of Mask. But Rob, sorry, man, I was you were telling us about like.
No, I just think it's cool that it feels like a backdoor pilot, like they used to do in like TV series. Kind of give you this concept of like something else you might be interested in, and to gauge interest in like would people want to see this. And I hope people did pick up on that, and they're kind of excited to see what's what might come from having Matt Tracker in there, and possibly like more of Mask in the extended EU.
A friend of mine and I were chatting about animated series, and how many like animated series from the 80s were actually like outsourced to Japan. And so you guys know that GI Joe was, Batman was, and then obviously like Mask. Well, I say obviously, but in turn, Mask and Gem and the Holograms was as well. To which I responded with, in my head, I always feel like in the Sunbow kind of way of doing things, I feel like Gem and the Holograms and Mask and GI Joe take place in the same kind of multiverse or same kind of like world. I've mentioned this before. This is nothing new, but having said this to a friend of mine, he was like, "Oh wow, he can totally see that now," because they all shared the same kind of a similar art direction amongst these shows because they wanted to have a certain look and feel for their product at the time, and I love seeing it come back together here. And that said, I would love to see if they ever bring Gem and the Holograms in here because I think in this world of Transformers, GI Joe, and Mask, I do feel like Gem and the Holograms has a space here actually. But and of course I forgot to mention Transformers, but yes, I kind of, but yes,
The
that's also kind
Transformers
of part
is
of
in
this.
there already.
Yeah. So anyway,
I believe there is in the pipeline a Cold Slither comic book series.
Yes,
Oh, so there we
I
go. So we
saw
might
that
get that vibe.
actually. Yeah, apparently they'll be performing live at SDCC. I think it is.
Yes.
And they are going to either do it as a one shot or it's a mini series featuring Cold Slither. I don't know how that ties into the EU, if it does at all, but that is something that apparently they are doing.
I mean, it's absolutely in the ether at the moment. Like, if you looked at the SDCC box set, there's some subtle Gem and the Hologram, or not so subtle Gem and the Holograms cross branding there. I mean, the whole box set is gloriously
Truly
replete
outrageous.
with replete with Easter eggs everywhere. You have to pore over absolutely every detail in that box because it's gorgeous. Even the underside, which is bizarre. Like you got a barcode, but you've also got like lovely, lovely graphics. Who's ever going to see the underside of a box? I don't know. I guess they didn't want to leave any stone unturned. or
Person
any-
paying for it is gonna feel like they are getting their, what is it? It's $200, I think, for that
They're
set.
getting their money's worth. That graphic
Can't remember, but it
designer
doesn't
made
matter.
sure it's good from
We've
every
jumped
angle.
several, I think. Gem and the Holograms, yeah, absolutely. In a Cold Slither miniseries, I imagine they'll
I'd
be
like to
there
think they would,
somewhere.
yeah.
On
And the
tour.
last tangent on this, I mean, like, I don't know who owns it, but like, I feel like you could even add in Bionic 6 into this universe. Like, I have no idea who owns Bionic 6. But like, with introducing Mask, if you could put that in there, I feel like you could definitely add in Bionic 6 in some way into this. In some way.
I do feel that could work to a degree, yeah.
I think that could work too. Although, I mean, I suppose they're a family, so it is kind of like more contained. It's not like a unit.
Well, they
like
would be the
soldiers.
Fantastic Four of this kind of universe.
You could do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Not
the
knowing
Secret
who
Six.
the heck owns Bionic 6, but I think that would be a great addition to the EU.
Well, whoever bought LJN, presumably
there
one
we
of the
go.
big toy boys.
One
Yeah,
of
don't let them make games though. Bad LJN, bad.
So Matt Tracker gets an invitation. Well, Clutch says, "I'll put in a good word for you if you want to join the GI Joe team." He's like, "No thanks. I like to work alone."
I'm alone.
I seem to be hearing that sentiment a lot. Like it's Baroness, it's Beachhead, it's Matt Tracker. Like famously, he is a team player. I guess.
Yeah,
this is
he's the
different
head of a team.
universe.
He's the leader of the
And a
mob.
family man, an only
Yeah.
father in the previous understanding of this character.
Mhm.
So this is a whole new ball game. I'm okay to go with it. Another loner, Ravage shows up.
Yes. That was a great
And so
scene.
Love
cool.
Ravage, love the way he's depicted. He's always got motion lines. He's always like the art style on Ravage is always very like it's like stretched and distorted because he's always in motion. I got a bit of an issue with him like taking the direct approach. Doesn't seem very Ravage for me. Like he is so vulnerable. Like Hound is able to just pick him up and hurl him across the garage.
Yeah.
I mean, did you think this one through, Ravage? You're supposed to be quite spry and have guile and
Well-
be a more secretive agent.
Well, the one could argue at least that Ravage has now tested the enemy and tested their weapon, or their sort of first line of defense. So I mean, this is all data he can take back to Starscream, who I assume he's
Soundwave.
taking it back to.
Yeah.
I mean, Starscream, Soundwave. Thank you, Rob. You know, when you think of one thing and you say another thing. Yeah, so there is that side
Well,
of
look,
it.
I'm not keeping up with Transformers in the EU. I have read a bit of Void Rivals because I do love me some Pythona action, but I don't know where the Transformers are in this
What's going on
storyline.
there?
So is Ravage reporting to Soundwave or is he reporting to Starscream? I don't know.
We don't know. And it's also worth mentioning that this little free comic book day issue doesn't just stop with GI Joe and a little bit of Mask.
Really?
And it goes further. We get it's like, for me, this was quite a surprise. I loved
Yes.
yeah, we got this open with this opening on the swamp. We got this Cobra Trooper. He's looking terrified. And he's obviously being pursued by somebody, and it's revealed that that somebody is a Dreadnok, and it's Buzzer with a twist. And Buzzer's gone full Ash on this.
Yes.
Yeah. Except it's only,
they obviously survived the encounter with the Cobra Commander back in the Cobra Commander miniseries, and now they are biding their time. And yeah, at some point we're going to get an incredible clash between the Dreadnoks and Cobra Commander and his forces.
So it's great to see
for anyone who needs a bit better explanation, Buzzer has he's now an amputee and has attached a chainsaw to his arm.
Do you ever think he
has an arm chainsaw, which I'm in favor with, because how do you one up the Dreadnoks and their signature weapons? Make it part of them. I mean, Buzz's chainsaw is so deeply rooted in the character, it might as well be a part of him. It's the next logical step. It's the way of you cementing this as his main weapon. It's not like he can just switch it out for something, or maybe he can, but like, it's part of him. It's physiologically part of him. So maybe the same with Torch. Maybe the same with, well, no, we've seen Ripper. He's in the sort of the Cobra fold. But yeah, if Torch has like a flamethrower arm, wouldn't that be?
I think it would be so rad if, like, again,
Monkey Wrench has a trident.
Like, yeah, I mean, if you have to extend
what's his name again? He has a lacrosse.
Thrasher has a lacrosse stick.
Thrasher
got the short end of the lacrosse stick.
You probably find Thrasher.
What do you think of my weapon, huh?
No, I think it would be so rad if Torch is it would be cool if Torch has like the flamethrowers kind of integrated, maybe not to replace a limb, but integrated onto his body, so it's not just a handheld thing. It's like a little bit like Firefly from.
It's like whatever works, essentially. I mean, I doubt they're gonna make all of them kind of like part cyborgs.
But if they wanted to go punk rock, they should totally put Torch's flamethrower by his nuts, dude. Like,
wow,
like
that's actually
like as a pelvic thing.
Rock, that's where my mind went.
Yeah, because
he's like, thrusting the flame.
Can you imagine, man? Like him like throwing horns and just like thrusting his hips out, and he's just like setting everything on fire. That is so Dreadnoks. I'm drawing that. Listen to stay tuned for that vlog.
Where does he store the oil? I mean,
it'll be in a backpack. It'll just.
I thought you were gonna say his balls.
Like these big balls, and then Thrasher, everybody looks at Thrasher and they're like, oh, there's no change, and then he takes his pants off and they're like, oh, that's why you're called Thrasher. But like, just to get away from the pelvic area of these characters, it is great to see that the Dreadnoks kind of have a bit of a mutant kind of vibe to them, and I mean that in the sense of the TMNT mutant kind of, they are getting a Rocksteady Bebop kind of vibe here, and I'm loving that.
Yeah, they're kind of evolving, and they're kind of like integrating into what the EU is. It's not just men versus machine. It's not just fully realistic. Like there's crazy tech, there's crazy stuff out there, and it makes sense for them to go crazy. Like, what's the next level for these guys? And it's cool to see that they survived. Being attacked by Cobra Commander. They're still out there. Although, which one is on Cobra? It's Monkey Wrench, isn't it? He's on the Cobra team. Ripper. Yeah.
No, he doesn't get an attachment. He just gets a uniform.
Yeah. gets to be Cobra Commander's bitch, I guess.
And a stern dose of PTSD. I mean, when all hell's breaking loose in the Mars headquarters, he's cowering.
Yeah. So
Shame,
he's
man.
definitely been
Bad
affected
times,
by
sad
that.
times.
So I mean, hopefully he has, I don't know, no redemption arc, but he probably at some point gets kind of gets to get over that by kind of like getting his own back at Cobra Commander when the Dreadnoks,
I think his redemption arc will come when he returns to the Dreadnoks. I think.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
he'll
Like he actually
redeem-
gets his
yeah.
confidence back.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool that we have this interest. Like there is stuff going on. Like there's a main plot going on, like for the stories. But there is interesting stuff happening with individual characters within the stories. And it's nice that, kind of we get this little tease in the FCBD, Free Comic Book Day comic of like stuff to come for GI Joe.
It's a new angle that the Dreadnoks are antagonists to Cobra now. Like they have an agenda. They have a bone to pick with Cobra Commander.
Yeah.
They're out for blood. Like
But
literal blood, not major blood.
Not major.
But you're kind of seeing that as a thing, as a trait with this version of Cobra Commander, and that he's turning enemies into allies, not necessarily friends, but into allies. I mean, he's kind of done that with Destro. I mean, instead of like, I still think the setup for Destro and Cobra Commander's rivalry here is very, very good, because that rivalry got, like, in the cartoon, it is what it is, and it's fun to watch, and it's engaging because you've got the push and pull. But here, I like that we've kind of set up that beef between the two of them, and you know that why they're involved, why they're kind of working together, and as you know, it's not just like, oh, I'm gonna screw him over, oh, I'm gonna screw him over. It's this whole like, Destro's a little concerned about Cobra Commander. You get that vibe, you know?
Yeah. No, especially as you go into 8 and 9, because obviously in 6 he kind of reveals to Destro like this is some of the bigger picture. I'm not going to tell you everything, because if I tell you everything, then you're just going to get rid of me and you don't need me anymore. I think it's something he says in 6, or is it 8? But yeah, you kind of get that expansion, and I like that it isn't just it's not just GI Joe versus Cobra. There is kind of an expansion of the world. There's many different factions and forces with their own motivations and reasons for doing things. It's not just constantly GI Joe versus Cobra. Like there's a lot of the world is bigger than them. And I kind of like that, especially when you maybe, I mean, we obviously we've chosen not to mention, but if you compare and contrast that to what's going on in A Real American Hero currently, it's just Cobra, GI Joe, and Mars. Well, not even Mars. It's Cobra, GI Joe, and the Revanche in kind of this little triangle, and they're kind of just going round and round in circles currently, with no like outside forces to kind of affect what's going on there. And I like that the world of the EU Energon Universe is bigger than that. Like there's a lot more stuff going on in here, and it's all motivated by actions of characters that have happened before. Within the issues that we've read so far. But to take a break from that, we come to issue 7, which is also the introduction of. So Tom Riley has been the artist up to this point.
Oh wow! You don't even want to mention the Cybertronian rock band.
Oh, okay, yeah. Let's talk about
off topic.
That's not that off topic.
It's a fun little I suppose contained short story.
Yeah.
Like jazz.
Exactly. Listen, I just wanted to mention it because I did mention that there's a space for Gem and the Holograms here, and having the Cybertronian band kind of vibe kind of brings me to that again, where you could see like Gem working with certain members of this band. And I did also appreciate, because I don't read a lot of Transformers comic books and haven't read a lot actually, I did appreciate just giving some credence to Jazz's character with regards to the music and to the sounds that he has. And I just felt that as somebody who is a hobbyist musician, I did appreciate that this kind of does connect, and this was written very well. I enjoy that when they talk about Jazz and Optimus asks him, "Is this the sound?" And he goes, "It's close, but it feels like it's coming from the same place." And like, I love that, because that's the thing. Sometimes you just hear something in your mind a little bit, and you can't quite clearly hear it, but you know what it feels like. And I thought that was fun to share.
It's interesting as well, kind of like music. Like he loves music, but he kind of hears the sound of the universe. and it kind
Yes.
of like, to him, it's a kind of music, and he finds that again in jazz music.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of hears a jazz performance, and I suppose the improvisation of a
Of
jazz
jazz.
musician, and kind of like where that goes, and how that kind of relates to the type of sound that he's heard before and wants to hear again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because there's
for
that
sure.
energy.
It's
But
nice there's this link to music in some of these issues.
but you're busy telling us about how cool Flint and Beachhead are in episode 7 and issue
Yes,
7.
yeah. So up to this
Keep saying
point, Tom
episode,
Riley has
sorry.
been the main artist on
Mhm.
on GI Joe, but now we get a guest artist who seems to be, from what I can see, is the artist for this next volume of GI Joe. So that's Andrea Milano, who was actually the main artist on Cobra Commander miniseries. So now he is now the current artist, at least for the story arc, it seems. For
And
GI
did some
Joe.
stuff in the Free Comic Book Day as well. Carry on.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he gets to come in, and we get to see like Beachhead, the EU version of Beachhead, and like, what is he about, and what is he honor, like how does he fit into the bigger GI Joe story? And what do we think of Beachhead? Is this a cool interpretation of him as this kind of like older soldier who loves to be a loner as well? There's a lot of loners, as Stephen said.
Steven, say something.
Well, look, I always have a negativity bias. Maybe we all do. It doesn't really. My understanding of Beachhead is he's a consummate professional, but like he's a consummate professional soldier, and like a solo operator does not a good soldier make. That's an assassin. That's that's a mercenary. Like Beachhead's strength is in like tactics, training, like working as a team. Him going solo is at odds with my understanding of Beachhead. Him being quite as verbose is also at odds with my understanding of Beachhead. There's a lot of text in issue 7.
Yeah.
And it's all Beachhead's inner monologue. He's griping about how he needs this mission to come off as a success. Otherwise, he's going to be stuck at barracks training new recruits. I don't know. Like, he should jump at the it didn't ring true
feel like
to my
Beachhead
understanding of
to me.
Beachhead. Well, it felt like every other like badass lone wolf style dude. And I would love Beachhead to be a bit more nuanced than that. But whatever, man. I've lived inside of GI Joe and these characters all my life. I can't necessarily demand such nuance from someone who's writing a comic book, for a paycheck. That's very reductive. I guess what I'm trying to say is like it's going to take me a little while to come around to that.
Kind of warm up on him.
Well, in a book that has so many potential Snake Eyeses, like I don't want Beachhead to be a Snake Eyes. He's something else.
Hey, do you think?
But I do like the fact that he's got this kind of cranky old man vibe to him, and that's where his lone wolf attitude comes from. But no, I think Beachhead should acknowledge that the most efficient way to take that objective in that house with the bad intel that he had is in a 4-man fire team, at least.
Yeah, at least a group of soldiers. Maybe this is him before he kind of becomes himself. It's kind of like you're setting him up as like a certain type of character, and he kind of comes around on teamwork and stuff. So that's maybe why he feels wrong. Or do you think he's miscast? Like who could have actually played this role in this issue better, do you think? Like who would have been a better lead in this one?
I'm grateful that they haven't done it yet. I'm so grateful that this book has held off on, well, 2 things. The heel face turns of Mercer and Baroness. That's amazing, because when we first saw those team shots before the issue 1 GI Joe, hell, before the miniseries is even, when they just had like the team shot and we're like, who the hell's that guy with the suit, and who's the chick with the red showing her booty, and why has Baroness got a star on her chest? Like those, we were like, oh fuck, Mercer's gonna, within the first 3 issues, he's gonna be a Joe, and Baroness is gonna betray the Joes like immediately. Well, they've held off on that. Amazing restraint. Or amazing long game and planning, because guess what? Those 2 are very interesting characters for it. And then the other enormous amount of restraint they've held is in not giving us Snake Eyes.
Thank God.
Like they want this team and multiple teams of Joes to be fully established before we get, Wolverine, basically.
No, I'm all for it,
Yeah.
and they can keep doing that. Thank you, because like Rob, you mentioned something like about how this could be Beachhead before he becomes Beachhead that we know, and I kind of got the pardon me, I kind of got the feeling that this Beachhead has been the team player, had some kind of trauma in that he's lost the team, and now he's in the single mindset. And I think he's gonna become the Beachhead we know him to be when he's surrounded by people he thinks are as equally skilled as him, and that he's not looking after as much. Because I mean, listen, I'm this is complete speculation, but that's just the feeling I get from this Beachhead, that he's seen some shit. As you guys mentioned, he's grumpy. There's a bit of a grizzled quality to him, and I think he's had too many youngsters die under his command, or been in commands where too many youngsters have died, and he's come out. And yeah, so I think if he's ever going to be put in a team, GI Joe would be the thing that's going to bring out his proper team dynamic, and I think we're going to get that explored. Also, because we have no Snake Eyes in these books yet, thank God, we are actually starting to understand these characters more, and they're not always, it's not always like Beachhead and the gang and then Snake Eyes doing everything. Now we have a chance to focus on these characters properly. I mean, I know that the books have done that. I'm not saying that GI Joe books have never focused on one or a handful of GI Joes in spite of Snake Eyes. I'm just saying that it's good to see that these characters are not necessarily the same way we expect them to be, and it's interesting for a longtime Joe fan to read this stuff. And I don't think that there is anybody who this should rather be, because we're figuring out who Beachhead is in this scenario. I also want to kind of mention that, as much as it's unrealistic to put somebody like Beachhead or Duke or something into these solo situations, I remember when we were playing with these toys as kids, we only had two hands, man. We can only handle so many toys at the same time. And so I do kind of get
two
that.
friends.
Yes. Well, I didn't always have people around me for this kind of stuff. So that was the typical play pattern, is you would have your
two
action
friends
figure.
to basically take the piss and make mockery of all the cool stuff that I was trying to lay down. Damn.
But at least you had at least 6 soldiers in that team. Hopefully, you had a whole bunch of soldiers in that team. So
yeah,
I was controlling all the NPCs. Rob with Scoop was poking holes in everything, and Alistair with Beachhead, ironically, was Mr. Serious and come on guys, focus. I just want to kill some guys. I want to kill some guys.
I want to kill some people.
And all this ammunition. I want to make sure I get through at least some of it. He would always bitch to me. So this is a massive tangent, but I suppose it's on topic because it is Beachhead.
Totally take it up. Yeah.
L would always bitch about how he didn't get through all of his ammunition. If we had a mission and there weren't enough people for him to murder, and he was like, I didn't even get to use this gun, man. I didn't get to use my grenade launcher. I didn't get to use my machine gun. He was that kind of guy.
Carry less then.
I love the fact that he was so intent on exhausting every single one of his weapons so he can get down to sidearms, knives, teeth. He wanted the full experience. He wanted to have the last action hero kind of drag out kind of fight by the end.
What's a cool word for being over prepared?
Overzealous? I don't know. Over prepared.
I feel like that should be his code name. If you ever design a character or write a character or anything
word
based
is for being over prepared.
Yeah, I feel like that should be a thing. Maybe I don't know. Stockpile should maybe be.
I'll go one better, dude. He's he comes in and out of the action and is still unspent. We call him Blue Balls.
No, that would be a South African code name. We call him. That's his real Yeah, that's his real
Bobula.
military code name, not his cool, not his toy, his action figure code name. But yeah, anyway, sorry guys, we went off on a massive tangent.
No, for
Rob, you were sort
sure.
of telling us what's happening in this book.
No, but so Beachhead is tasked to kind of retrieve something on his own. At some sort of rich man's house, he kind of gets in there. He kind of goes up against Blood's a gang of guys who kind of equipped with like weapons. For like when I first saw them, I was like, I forgot that they were Blood's guys, and I thought they were Night Creepers because they were kind of all equipped with the wavy swords that Night Creepers come with.
Yes,
My understanding is like, weren't they just appropriating the sort of antiques that this guy had a collection of weapons and things, and they were just pulling them off walls?
Pulling off walls. But why were they doing that if they had guns? Like, I don't know. I would have thought
well,
that they came in there with the swords.
There's a panel where Beachhead's going for his silenced weapons, his pistols, and he's like, they're girls with the owner of this property. I don't want them to get into harm's way.
Girls.
I don't know. It's pretty weak. So he starts throwing down. He pulls antique swords off the walls. I mean, it's like, yeah, I guess. Are they sharp? Are they effective weapons? It's a good improvised environmental weapon. But if you've got two silenced nines in your sort of back holsters,
just
go for that. Just, you know, do you doubt your own marksmanship that much that you can't plug a few bloodhounds?
It's like just
but it goes one better in terms of environmental weapons. He pulls like a boomstick at one point, and it's loaded. Like he's got the shotgun.
That lucky.
And he blasts the chain off this box, which is being dragged behind a truck. And he just happens to have a shotgun. That was fortuitous. Yeah. Anyway, I'm nitpicking. I know.
No, I get you though. I love that.
This is exactly the kind of game that we would play out as late teens, early 20s.
Absolutely.
And I would be upset because you couldn't use ammo because you changed all to melee weapons. Sorry, Rob. Yeah, you were saying.
No, for sure. I'm just saying, it does feel like the sort of game, the kind of like story that we would play out. You know, it's kind of like an isolated location. There's something that you need to fetch, and we all kind of get in there, and then like everything goes to shit. You know, as like more people come in, and we have to fight them with different weapons.
Don't sweat the details. It's just fun to have a sword fight in the middle of a mansion. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Just go for it.
Guns would be too quick. Like, let's have an action sequence that could be a little bit more exciting to watch, maybe.
Yeah, draw it out a little bit.
Headshots.
Have fun with it. Finished. So like that's too easy. That's not fun. And I think that's there we go. There's the fun of this comic series. Is like he's really having fun with it. You know, I mean, if you can say nothing else for Joshua Williamson, the writer, like he's having fun with it, and I definitely do appreciate that. And we finally get to see like a little bit of Flint and Lady J by the end.
Yes.
The I suppose GI Joe After Dark team.
No, they name drop it, bro. It's Night Force.
Night Force. Oh, they do say that. You're right.
Call them Night Force.
Yeah.
That's a new one. Although there is a Night Force Flint figure. I own it. It's got those awkward, like they look like kitty stripes or kitty whiskers.
They are a bit weird. It's like
his face paint sucks.
Off.
Yeah, it's a sort of a 2000s figure. Came with the GI Joe Moray, which is a remold of the Cobra Moray, but like in that swirly, I don't know,
the melange
candle.
Yeah.
So it's
fine for what it is.
Predominantly green, so I'll take it as a cool GI Joe reversion. And I believe quite difficult to get your hands on now. It's quite.
Okay, well then you picked it up at the right time.
Yeah, when it was on special.
It was.
No one wanted it. Is this the first time we see the Skyhawk as well in the EU?
Yes.
Yeah. They kind of swoop in Flint and Lady J.
It's got 4 engines, doesn't it? In the illustration?
In the artwork, yes. Yeah. It looks like it anyway. And that's the vibe I get from it.
It kind of has like little engines underneath it, which I suppose would be the permanent like jet foil, not a kind of like upward That's like pumpy thing.
The vertical
The
thrust.
Vertical
VTOLs,
thrust.
the VTOL
Yeah.
style engines. Yeah.
So if we're having a look at it, there you go. So this is pages from the issue. We get to see it for the first time from below. As kind of the Blood's gang kind of chases after them, and Blood wipes out his own team because he's like, you guys are useless. Yeah. So I think there is a close up, but I think it's only in that one shot where you kind of see from.
It's a
below.
real cozy cockpit. Must be.
Yeah, I mean,
Yo.
like you look at it from the front, and then like they both pop out. It's like, whoop, we definitely climbed out of this. Well,
For-
thank goodness they're a couple,
Yeah.
Well, we can assume that. Yeah.
Lady J rides stick.
Yeah. This is.
So it does have two engines, but there is kind of like extra lights or extra engines on the bottom, which I suppose help give it extra lift. So you kind of do see that.
I
in one
think
panel.
like in order to make sense of the Skyhawk, if we are to once again go on a tangent, it
Mhm.
needs some thrust up front.
Mm-hmm.
Because the cockpit and the cockpit is where all the weight is really.
Yeah.
Like aft of the main engines, there's nothing. There's just control surfaces. 4, you got the cockpit, you got all the sort of avionics, you got the cannons and all their ammunition. So yeah, having some thrusters like in the front portion, smart. But there's just not a whole lot of real estate with the Skyhawk. I think I once like joked about how, yeah, sure, it might be able to get into the air, but you've got about 30 seconds worth of fuel before those turbines are completely
It's
dry.
finished. Can't get anywhere with
And a
that.
VTOL is a thirsty craft. So I don't know. It's powered by Energon, I guess. A little chit of Energon is all you need.
Who knows? And of course, the thing that they were chasing throughout the entire issue was a damaged bat, which means GI Joe now has a damaged bat for them to investigate. I mean, not that they haven't been fighting these things and didn't just fight them, I think a couple of issues ago.
And they're gonna bring this one back to the pit. So let's see how that goes. Trojan Gambit all over again, maybe.
Yeah,
so,
maybe.
Or we're gonna see like GI Joe androids, a la Operation Blackout. They'll have their own army of bots.
Well, I suppose they need something as cannon fodder to be able to throw at each other, while the main players are kind of like hitting each other. You need something to kind of fill up the space, the background in a shot of these robots on both sides shooting each other. We have green bats.
GI Joe doesn't need cannon fodder. They get hit all the time and they just keep going. Except if you're rock and roll.
Yeah.
You don't keep going.
Rest in peace, rock and roll.
Yeah.
His song ended too early. No encore.
That's very sweet. I also like Beachhead's obviously a very complex human being. Beachhead's clearly a very complex human being because he killed the 2 guys on security detail in the opening, but then decides, he's not going to spill any more blood. I just thought that was a bit of an odd one. I'm just getting to my last little odd thoughts on this before we move on to the next one, but just thought that's a bit odd. Also,
what you're saying, the prostitutes made their bed. They've fallen women, and now they
no, it's not that. It's just that it's just interesting that that's his approach, because even though those guys are security guards, they are also technically still non-combatants in a way. They're just doing their job.
They're just doing their job. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Just like the
was the
prostitutes
objective
also just
worth spilling blood like that? Yeah.
Yes.
Look, maybe Beachhead should have been using tranquilizer darts,
or something. Metal Gear
General
Solid.
Hummel in the Rock.
Oh yes.
Or Metal Gear. Which again, as we know, The Rock is a huge inspiration for Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yes.
But
how quickly does it take a tranq dart to like make a human being completely like just go down like a sack?
I think that depends on the tranquilizer.
Can it really, like, as soon as the needle penetrates, you're like, you don't have opportunity to bring up your weapon or hit the alarm, you're down. You're completely out.
like without us going into the weeds of things, there are different types of tranquilizers. So some are actually quick acting tranquilizers which shut your nervous system off. And so they keep you alive essentially, but they knock you out. So that could take, I don't know, that depends on the person's metabolism, I suppose. And then you actually get tranquilizers that are just designed to make people drowsy or to make you drowsy. When I say you, I actually mean animals. Okay. But like drowsy, and then so it's all about dosages and all that. So yes, I imagine, I mean, Jurassic Park, The Lost World famously has this line about a venom from some kind of South Sea cone shell that can stop nerve conduction velocity within like a millisecond, and it would kill you. That's how quickly it would shut you down. So it's not a tranquilizer for a human, but it's suitable for something like a T-Rex. So again, like it's
Well,
we
if there
can
are
go
any
into the weeds.
tranquilizer experts in watching this or listening
Tell
to
us
this,
in the comments.
let us know in comments
how
or
wrong
by
are we?
email. How do tranquilizers actually work?
Yeah.
Because I would always have imagined that it's kind of like it has to go through the bloodstream to a certain point. Like either if it's going to make you sleepy, I imagine that it's trying to get to your brain, or if it's kind of disabling you. I suppose once again it have to go to the brain because it kind of like disrupts the nervous system signals.
Well, I mean,
But I
anesthesia
suppose
can
with that,
take
at a
like 3
high
seconds.
dose,
So
okay, yeah.
yeah.
So it
So
can be very quick.
yeah. I mean, if
But
anybody
you're right,
here has ever
Paul.
had
Just dialing back to Beachhead's sanctioning of those two guards who were doing nothing other than just patrolling the
job.
perimeter,
Yeah.
punching the clock, and he preemptively headshots them both. Yeah, it's not a very
Yeah.
good guy thing to do. I
It's
mean,
not.
sure, if your objective is a madman with his finger on the button of a weapon or has got hostages, yeah, you hang everything. You
Yeah.
absolutely just go in there,
Every
guns
person
blazing,
between
and
you and him, you have to take out so that don't stop you from actually preventing.
but this was just acquiring a box,
Yeah.
which he didn't even know the contents of.
Yeah.
Like, how do you
You
justify
judge.
taking
Yeah.
lives for this mystery item?
And again, it's
Mm.
okay, mind you, I think some of this is just coming from the fact that I'm playing Death Stranding currently, and there are moments where you can engage in, violence, where and
Heaven forbid.
and a lot of the
No
time,
violence in my video games. No.
and a lot of the times, those situations it's not a case of like you have to go in there and like take people out. It's like often you have to go into a situation and take an object and get it out of there, And so if you're good, you can do it without alerting them. And then you also don't have to kill them. But then again, in Death Stranding, killing something is really, really bad. But if you're going to play that, you can figure that out yourself. Amazing game. But Joe, guys, is there anything else about 7 that I think that we need to say that's important? I mean, plot-wise, he goes in there to steal a bat.
Yeah,
So
and he
how
gets it out,
important is that bat? I feel like this comic, in a lot of ways, was designed to play around with Beachhead as a character for us to get to know him. I felt like this was a good way to introduce us to Lady Jane Flint and to Major Blood again.
Yeah,
Um,
I
I
mean,
feel like the bat was a bit anticlimactic, to be honest. If I'm being
well,
honest,
it was
like
bait. Yeah, so
yeah,
like we've seen enough bats to this point for that to not be a big, meaningful reveal. Yes, okay,
yeah.
it's a
You
it's
could
a
have stolen those parts from your battlefield at the Mars, facility. So I suppose in a way it is kind of like an anticlimactic reveal. It's like what's in the box doesn't really matter in the end. Actually, they just need to show you something, and it has to link back somehow to Cobra, and that like the mission that he was on was actually helping GI Joe, I suppose, learn more about Cobra. But it is kind of true.
like
It's just like
it's not something new, It's a wrecked piece of
Yeah.
tech that has already been thoroughly debunked in this retelling of GI Joe and Cobra as like Mars's robots. They don't work so well. It's
Yeah.
not a viable thing that Cobra Command is using because the bats, they just turn on each other. They turn on friendly forces. It's a breakthrough in some respects, but it's still rough. So this like I don't know. I don't know.
But there's the
I guess-
potential that Beachhead, Flint, and Lady J aren't aware of that. You know?
Oh, absolutely. Sure.
Yeah.
This might be a big thing for them.
Yeah.
But we as the reader, we're like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
we
a-
understand what this is. Yeah.
A wrecked battle android trooper. We've seen plenty of those. Anyway.
But anyway, we got a Major Blood who doesn't seem at all like he used to be or like we're familiar with. So that was pretty cool. And he's definitely a hunter. He set up a trap. You know, he was hoping that the Joe team would take the bait, especially the one with Baroness in it. And that didn't come to pass.
Which good. I mean, that brings us 8 and 9. I mean, which is essentially one big story so far. I mean, we can probably actually just 8 and 9. We can just talk together.
It's like one thing, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I think that's kind of the feeling I'm getting for this next story arc. It's Baroness focused. So Baroness kind of needs a break. Like she's in a situation she doesn't want to be in, but she's been forced into. She feels she has to be in to kind of like, you know, either it's prison or it's be a good guy essentially. And you know, she's kind of played along with the team so far, and she's kind of fairly doing a good job. She's bitching and moaning the whole way through, but she needs, you know, a little bit of a break. And Duke and Hawk kind of like allow her to have that little break, you know. Yes, accompanied by CoverGirl. So she kind of we get to see a little bit more of who Baroness is in this world, and kind of I suppose what does motivate her. And she isn't as necessarily evil as you know other versions of her that we've seen. Where does she go when she has this opportunity to kind of like be on her own for a bit? She goes to kind of see her parents. She misses her parents. And she wants to make sure that they're safe and fine. But then that leads into Blood being able to find her, because with her being off the grid so much with GI Joe, and her popping up every now and then with GI Joe, he has no idea where she is. But finding now, he is able to track her down with the help of someone new into the EU, and that is
the Vulture.
Yes, very much so. At the end of issue 8, Raptor comes on the scene, the bird of prey, as he likes to refer to himself. And yeah, we get to kind of see
still an accountant.
Very much so, as we discover in issue 9, we get a little bit of his origin story. Numbers are boring. Death and taxes. I just was so bored. But then when I looked out my window, I saw birds attacking animals, and I was like, that's pretty cool. I'd love to be able to do that. And as I discovered the birds more, so did the birds just influence me more. And it was pretty cool. So I got someone to...
Baroness, you still there? You decided to stick around while I was monologuing?
I'm just telling you my whole story here. It's interesting. There's kind of like this, I don't know, have they achieved that balancing act with this character? Because obviously I think Raptor has basically always been a joke a lot of the for you know the majority of existence. It's like a dude with birds, and he's got these silly wings, and he was an accountant. And they're still setting that up. You know, you get that feeling that is who he is, but at the same time they want him to be more dangerous. Like
he's an accountant, he's already dangerous. Carry on.
But like, do you get that feeling that he is effective? I mean, by the end of issue 8, he has captured Baroness and CoverGirl.
Yeah.
Like, do we buy him as this effective bird of prey? This guy that they've set him up as?
I do, because he's unstable. And he feels unstable. He doesn't feel like they're not playing him cool. They're playing him crazy. And
yeah, because obviously he has no training. You know, like he's established that he's just a normal dude who happens to have a mechanical backpack that allows him to fly, and he has this connection with these birds. But he's effective enough that someone like Major Blood would hire him or has him as an ally. That he can hunt down people and he does get stuff done. Do we buy him as an effective antagonist? It's
feel
weird.
Like the writer's hands were tied by the fact that he was a classified figure release.
Yeah.
Yes, the design in the art absolutely follows it to a T, even down to the claws,
including the claws wings, and the little red tattoo things he's got on his body. It's very much reproduced from a classified figure.
You are not allowed to poke fun at people's favorite dolly. Like you can't play him for jokes. Like Larry had the stones to play him for jokes because he was like, nah, Now this is taking it
This is
too far.
stupid.
Yeah, but Larry still
I'm
did
not
something
making
very
this fucking
devastating with
Birdman
them,
a
though.
credible threat.
Yeah, but he still used them to create to tell a credible story. I mean, like old Raptor
Yes,
in the
in
classic
one
line,
issue
shit,
he
like,
is shown to be effective at tracking the Joes,
mm,
but we never see him like go toe to like the cover of whatever it is, issue 50 something, where Raptor's kind of on a rocky outcropping shooting at the Joes while the Pogo's in the background, bouncing around. Wait, I might be confusing that with some other art. Is Raptor in the foreground of that issue?
trying
In
to
any
remember.
case,
I just remember
Raptor is
his
never
fault.
he's never put into actual combat, right?
Hmm.
So Larry very cannily kind of avoids the question of like, can this guy actually fight? Sure, the birds are well trained. They are they're like precursors to drones, except they are less conspicuous because they're natural creatures.
There's a
Only
poop
Outback
everywhere.
is able to like twig that, hang on, these birds are thousands of miles away from their natural habitat. What's going on? Anyway, jumping into another book. Some might say a superior book. Maybe. Anyway, this telling of Raptor is comic book, fuckery at its best. Wonderful. It absolutely is the Vulture. He's got cybernetic wings. It's a superhero book at that point. That's cool. Cobra's allowed to be larger than life. Let that. And also, you're not making fun of everyone's action figure. You're playing him straight. Like he's got claws and he's got wings, and he's not in an X-Man or a Spider-Man book. He's in a GI Joe book.
Yeah,
and
as like a character that, as you're saying, I mean, GI Joe the comic book it's finally doing what it was doing back in the 80s. It's being a advert for a toy that you can currently buy, and they're making him look cool enough that if you see him in the comic book, you're like, I want to buy him on the shelves. So we've come full circle. Like it's actually,
and I'm never going to argue
its original
with that.
purpose.
Yep.
I do champion old Raptor. You guys know that I'm a fan of the character, and I think there's a concept there that can definitely be fleshed out. I do appreciate that we actually get a real character behind this version of Raptor. We get some kind of an origin story for him, and we definitely feel like this is somebody who's got something to prove, but it's not to prove that he's relevant. It's something to prove to himself. He feels like he needs to be free, and he relates to predaceous birds or to predators, or raptors, should I say?
If this level of like superhero, supervillainy is cringe for you in your Joe book, Baroness has your back. Because he's like, yes, I'm this bird of prey. You might have heard of me. And Baroness is like, I have never heard of you. And I've heard of everyone. So, you loser.
Anyone else.
Exactly. Well done. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great moment. So I appreciated that. And I
So
hope she's able to absolutely school him. Like, I hope, he gets his moment to shine. Cool. But I hope he's swiftly dealt with. It does strain me a little bit to have this, like, I keep coming back to it. It's the Vulture.
Blood is relying on him to kind of be part of his plan. So Covergirl and Baroness are captured by Raptor, and Blood finally reveals like what he's been up to this whole time. It's not just revenge for him. Like, yes, we every time we get back to him, he's like, she took my eye. I want to get her back for that. It's not just that. He's kind of like, he wants to have her eye, but he also wants to kind of like drag it out, and he wants to really enjoy this experience. And
he's got some kind of buyer lined up for Baroness.
Yes, like he's like, you have many enemies in this world. You've angered a lot of people, so I'm going to sell you off to one of those people. So I'm going to make a ton of money from this entire situation, and I'm going to get your eye. So he kind of like gives, he says, Baroness, give me your eye, or Covergirl, take her eye out, and I'll let you go. And he kind of also has like insurance in this whole situation where he's like, Baroness, if you don't give yourself up, Raptor was listening in, and yeah, we know we know that you have parents, we know who they are, and he's going to kill them if you don't do exactly what I say. So like he's operating on multiple levels of like revenge, and like he really hates like what has been done to him, and he's still adjusting, to actually having lost an eye, and the kind of the levels of hatred he has for her. And that's where we get like the big thing at the end of this issue, where actually a cover girl's just like, fuck it, maybe I should be more like you, Baroness, and kind of stabs her in the back, and that's like the cliffhanger moment.
It's the twist.
That's the twist at the end. That's
So-
the cliffhanger.
Which
is wild, because they've been kind of connecting through these last two issues, because like cover girl's like, I don't want to be here, but I have to be here. To keep an eye on you. Baroness doesn't want her there, but they kind of do connect a little bit, where she's kind of like sharing, like, it's about her parents, and CoverGirl kind of feels like she's seeing a side of Baroness that she hasn't seen yet, kind of the stuck-up rich bitch, evil assassin person. But then she kind of stabbed her in the end of the issue, which I suppose it's a fake out. It definitely will be. I mean, there's no ways it's not. But it does make for a very cool, stay tuned for the next issue. Come back for issue 10, guys. It's going to be amazing.
And that's why I want to ask you guys, like, what are your thoughts here? Because, Steve mentioned earlier about heel turns and how, Mercer still hasn't turned to being a GI Joe, and Baroness hasn't quit GI Joe to be with Cobra. And I think they're going to definitely keep, switching the shells around in the shell game that is the split allegiances and all that kind of thing. But I'm curious, I wonder if we're going to see, this kind of, plants the seed in your head that maybe CoverGirl goes to being the bad guy. Maybe all the stuff, maybe all the stuff that's happened to her has made her kind of realize that, or make her feel that she's on the wrong team. And
what stuff? What are you talking about?
Well, in the last few issues, she's been seeing what's been going on. She's part of the training. She understands that, she doesn't fit in. Well, you get that.
I don't think she's ever exhibited any behavior that would lead me to believe she's about to turn traitor.
Well, that's the thing. They play it sneaky, but let's see. Maybe we'll start finding out. Oh, she hates this.
She stabs Baroness, and she's avoided all organs and all that nonsense. I mean, it's going to be revealed very quickly that it was basically, how do you get yourself out of a hostage situation? Well, you eliminate the hostage.
Do the thing that,
you
that's
take out Baroness.
I feel that's also where she's coming from. Because I mean, yes, I think you might be onto something, Paul. I mean, they did kind of mention, she does mention, she has been underestimated in the past. But at the same time, I feel like she definitely is a GI Joe. So the only thing that she doesn't trust in this situation is Baroness up to this point. She's been she really doesn't trust that she's on this team, and I think most people in the team don't either. They all why is she here? Why do we need this villain necessarily, on the team? And I think that's also what makes it more shocking, is this moment of her stabbing her, because you don't expect it at all. I don't know, but I mean, you might be right. We'll have to wait another month and see what happens. But I still feel that CoverGirl is definitely still she's 100% a GI Joe. And I just think we're gonna playing a bigger, she has seen, as Steven said, she's kind of seen what Blood has laid down, and how does she circumvent this situation? How do we jump to the end of this so that we can kind of get things, get ahead of Blood?
You see, for me, what always sticks in my head with CoverGirl is that in a lot of ways, she's very similar to Domino Harvey. If you guys have watched the movie Domino with Keira Knightley, it's about that bounty hunter that was a model turned bounty hunter, mercenary. And I've
seen the poster, man, but this is 20 years ago, buddy.
Yeah, so it's a cool film.
Okay.
And it's an interesting story. The film is definitely way sexier than the real life events. But I can't help but feel that CoverGirl is that kind of character in a lot of ways. And I do like the idea of them GI Joe maybe switching her allegiances, and making her fall to the dark side, as it were. And because maybe CoverGirl is like, she is like tough as nails. She is like the tank, tech, and she, we've seen some cool depictions of her being quite a tough person, but it'd be interesting to see her turn her back. And I think one of the maybe this is a trope. It doesn't really feel like it, but I feel like perhaps Baroness her allegiance is gonna be tested constantly through this book, and I think that as readers, we're gonna constantly have situations of, oh, actually, is Baroness really a bad guy? Is she really a double agent or a triple agent? And they're gonna eventually, the writers are gonna do something to pull the rug out from underneath us. I feel like she's gonna have to earn that loyalty in the eyes of readers, and then they're gonna just go, ooh, actually, turns out she was a bad guy the whole time. Or it's gonna be a case of, oh no, Baroness has been turned into a bad guy by something that nefarious, like a brainwave device. Let's hope that they are a little bit cooler with how they do that, but maybe Cobra turns her over, and now it's a fight for Baroness's soul, so to speak. And and I think that could be a fun thing as well if they do it properly. If we keep getting that loyalty tested. I'm of course speculating again, and I'm not the one writing this book. These are just things that I think could maybe happen. Maybe I'm trying to outsmart the writing here. That's why
I just hope that there's a reason that's better than like a faction swap for the hell of it.
Yeah.
Because right now, absolutely, Baroness is the most interesting aspect of this GI Joe roster. She's the biggest question mark, but I don't feel like she's actually justified being on the team. Like, you do not take a war criminal who you just happen to share a cell with at one point to be in your super secret like combat team. Like, it doesn't necessarily equate.
Yeah.
I mean, she's there because it's cool to have Baroness as Joe. I don't feel like I don't think there's a legitimate in-universe reason for that.
You still don't feel it's justified.
Yeah, so they got to earn our trust in that decision.
Well,
yeah.
Colonel Hawk would have never signed off on that. It's like, what is in it for anyone to let someone in that deep that could stab you in the back at any point? Someone who has to be effectively under armed guard all the time, kept tabs of, have tracking devices on.
It feels like a lot of effort. It feels like almost too much effort. Like you could literally have just put any other female into a position as Hawk, but now you have to go through all these extra steps to be able to have her on the team. And yeah,
but it's cool. I mean, I want to know what they're doing, and I hope it's.
But definitely, if you think about it, it doesn't feel it's too much effort to have her on the team.
So do you think Duke's team is the smokescreen though? Because maybe that's why we are introduced to Beachhead, Flint, and Lady J in the earlier issue. Because maybe
I'd agree with you if they weren't given such a high profile and important mission up front.
Yeah,
like, it's not like
maybe we're
alpha dogs.
Oh, sorry, Steve. Yeah.
No, I'm just finishing my point. It's not like Colonel Hawk is having this team of Dukes like front and center all the time, and then like the real sort of wet work or the really important stuff is being handled by Night Force or whatever. It is very much Duke's team is the tip of the spear, and the other guys are working in the background. So yeah, they're not fall guys. They're not.
Yeah, they're all getting important work done, but in different ways. They're kind of taking Duke's his hurt from having being attacked by these machines and having stuff taken away from him, and using that as the driving force for this main team, while at the same time also being smart about it and trying to discover more about what these robots are in the background using Night Force.
Hawk is just extremely perceptive as to who in the world has plot armor. He's like, that Duke guy, he can jump out of a window, grab hold of a fang.
He's gonna be fine, guys.
Throw the pilot off. Yeah, exactly.
We need him on the
throw
team.
Himself off a building. He can eject out of a sky striker, hike up a mountain, fight a bat to stand still. self-destruct everything.
He will survive
He's that kind
anything.
of guy.
He may be broken, but he will survive literally anything. So
They keep hanging a lantern on it. Like every time Destro encounters him, he's like, "This guy again? Why would he
Yeah.
fucking die?"
I thought you were dead, dude.
I thought you were dead.
Why are you back
Anyway, I
again?
think, gents, we're caught up. This is
Yeah,
Yeah.
very much so. So
EU.
yeah. So obviously throughout these issues as well, there have been little scenes as well, kind of as they kind of build a little bit more on Hound and Clutch's story. But that's very slow going. It's kind of like, it's in the background. Like we've established it, but eventually, maybe not in this story arc, but obviously there will be a reckoning, because we are kind of moving towards eventually Duke needing to be filled in, and Clutch kind of like filling him in on the fact that not all these machines are bad. They are good and there are bad machines, and this thing is maybe bigger than we ever thought it was. And I like that there's slowly little pieces being filled in and being set up for what's coming, I suppose, in year 2 of GI Joe, which is
Isn't it fortunate that Hound is the Autobot that found his way into the pit?
that is pretty
And
convenient.
it wasn't a Honda or a
Yeah.
Lamborghini or a Formula One car.
A little pink bike. It's like, so Clutch, what are you doing with that little pink motorbike? Oh, I just love
I'm
pink.
picking
It's
up
my
chicks.
favorite color.
But I'm glad that convenience has found Hound in the crosshairs, because I mean it'll be fun for GI Joe to have this alliance with a Transformer just as part of Duke's team. It has been attempted before. I mean, Scarlet's Strike Force, which was, I think Aubrey Citizen was writing, but when the GI Joe book basically imploded, had Skywarp as like a card-carrying member of the
Yes.
Joes. Incredible.
So it has been
I mean,
attempted.
conceptually incredible, but maybe not in execution.
Gee, that's like a fantasy pick.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Like,
Beautiful.
Very random. But I think-
Black and
I think
purple
up to this point,
F-15.
I think like overall the EU, I think is overall very good. Like I think Robert Kirkman is kind of taking his time setting this stuff up. He's in no rush to kind of like force things in a certain direction or brush towards something. I think he's definitely he is setting the bar for like long story like telling, like where I think he knows exactly where he wants to go eventually. But he's willing to take his time and still make every issue that does come out something interesting to read, and have these smaller arcs be character focused, because that's what we are very much now. Like there is stuff boiling in the background of these issues,
I
but
love it.
but
Lots
at
of
the
stuff
forefront,
cooking.
it's we're learning more about who Baroness is and her beef with Blood, and how that kind of informs who they are, and we're discovering more about each
We
character.
want the beef with the blood.
And it must rhyme with mud. Anyway,
So overall, I'm enjoying GI Joe right now. I think it's
8 out of 10.
It's a good time. Yeah, 8 out of 10 for sure.
yeah, I'm there with you guys too.
I touched upon it moments ago, maybe an
Mm.
hour ago, but Pythona has got me reading Void Rivals. And
Mm.
initially, I was just reading her appearances. I couldn't give rocks about the other characters. I saw Springer. I was like, oh, that's cool. It still transforms into a helicopter, a space helicopter. Fine. But as things go with comic books, I realize, like, you might not jump on at issue 1 of Justice Society or Legion of Superheroes or whatever,
Maybe nobody really
Avengers.
jumps onto Justice Society. Carry on.
Mhm.
I'm being cheeky.
I did.
Cool.
You jump in where you jump in.
Yeah.
Yes.
And little by little, the little subplots start trickling into your mind, and you start, okay, now I'm genuinely interested in this guy who I had no awareness of before, but now he's wormed his way in my heart. So now I'm like, give me more Junkions.
Yeah.
Give me more Suxoid.
And that's
Like-
when you know you have a well-written comic, because that every single comic is the possibility of being the
Potential.
entry point for someone's reading of something.
Oh yeah.
And a well-written comic will give you that. You may be starting at issue 5 or something, but you will read the
I
stuff
started
in
at
there.
13.
13. Like that's the crazy thing. Like a well-written comic book will set everything up for you. It's enjoyable in itself, but it does make you want to go like, what came before? Like, what are these guys doing? How did they get to this point? And it makes you want to go back and kind of like see where stuff came from. And yeah, that's why I think, yeah, Kirkman is doing an incredible job. He's chosen the right people to write all these things, himself included, obviously, with Void Rivals. And yeah, I have great faith in where the whole EU is going. So happy days.
I'm not sure I can approve of Cobra Law being a spacefaring society, but makes for an interesting read. All of a sudden, the universe is a much smaller place where you could basically float around in a tick and visit the Cybertronians and visit the Junkions and the Quintessons.
I'm off to the moon, Mom.
Everybody's just around the corner.
I'm totally behind Cobra Law being able to be spacefaring. I mean, they did.
I would. The GI Joe the movie, pal, has one damning bit of evidence, and that's like they mastered a technology that allowed, basically Globulus deriding humanity for its technological prowess, whereas they had great pride in the fact that they didn't use inorganic technologies.
Yeah, but they still launched missiles into the space that were organically powered.
Huh.
With the spores.
Yeah, I suppose into orbit. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
But
and they have flying creatures that defy gravity.
I mean, the example they use in Globulus' telling of human history or human evolution is showing them as Neanderthals, showing them killing woolly mammoths, and then eventually that guy morphs into a dude clearly at like Cape Canaveral with a space shuttle blasting off in the background. Like that is the example that he homed in on, and that makes me feel like Cobra Law wouldn't be spacefaring. It'd be like, no ways. The cold, dead void of space is no place for our organics.
But interesting, I got from that
the evolution from like tools, and what is the ultimate tool? That could be
space travel.
Evolution,
space travel, or just like what is the greatest thing that they've achieved is going into space. That doesn't necessarily mean that he kind of is anti-space.
I just always felt that there was him being against like man-made steel things, like things that are made like inorganically. So like I always felt that he feels that you can achieve all of this stuff through organic technology.
Well, I am in the market for some royal guards after reading the Cobra Law appearances in Void Rivals, because guess what? Turns out that is the organic armor that is linked to each citizen of Cobra Law, and it allows them to survive in space.
Love that.
Until it's injured and dies, and then you're like, well, I guess I can't go outside anymore.
Gotta grow another one quickly.
I also, just on that point, I've been drawing Pythona quite a bit lately. You guys are aware of this. But for our listeners,
Paul is knocking out of the park, guys.
Oh, shame. Thank you, Rob.
Sexy Pythona.
So I'm busy on a Pythona artwork. I've been tracking kind of what I've been doing through vlogs that are available to the Patreons at the moment, and will be made available to the YouTube members as well, just a little bit later. And yeah, that is, I don't know what it is, but the other day, I just, it's the podcast we had the other day, and we were talking about how Super 7's doing all of these toys, and there's no Pythona. And this is clearly the only way that I can enjoy Pythona now without actually having a Pythona figure. So I think I'm just filling in that gap in my sort of soul right now. Is by
that and reading Void Rivals.
So I've got to do that. I actually
lost seeing Pythona.
I didn't click that she was in Void Rivals. I know, I feel so lame, but I need to actually catch up on this. This book is great. This line of books is awesome. 8 out of 10. It's definitely my score.
Hell yeah.
I love that I can tell people. I can get excited about this comic book.
You can recommend a GI Joe comic to someone. Yeah.
Without feeling like embarrassed or being like, oh, there's like whatever. I can just be like, you guys will enjoy this. If you enjoy Transformers or you enjoy like old school cartoons or whatever, you guys will dig this. It's cool, So yeah.
Hell yeah.
There's only a few things left to do, unless you guys want to dive into Postbox the Pit. I got some new shit.
What? I was about to ask if someone had new stuff, because I'm so excited to see new toys.
I haven't got new stuff yet.
I have lots of toys. I'm surrounded by Steven's toys here, but I'd like to know what new stuff Steve has.
Well, now, not too long ago, I went to a vintage toy market and picked up the Scorpion alien from the Kenner Aliens toy line from the early 90s.
That was my
Lovely.
that was my first when I was a kid.
I remember seeing these
So cool.
in shops.
As
were
did
two.
I.
I saw 2.
And
I bought them both.
I've had a fascination an itch that I've needed to scratch for the longest time, over 20
I
years.
like the fingers. They're quite
50
sharp if you need to scratch the itch. Sorry.
I always want to know about the human figures because they came with like a label sheet, but no instructions as to where to place them. And on the label sheet itself says decorate figure and weapon with labels, which also like made me think you're just getting free stickers to like free place on your figure. Anyway, the one that I used to see at Factory Toy Shop and the one that I've made my own because I wanted the experience of uncarding it. I found a cheapy one on eBay and got myself Bishop.
Oh,
Ooh, that's
nice.
some gorgeous packaging. Wow.
Oof. Love that art.
Well,
And Bishop's
love it even
stood
more when
there.
you see the ridiculous like Photoshop jobby they did with Lance Henriksen's likeness. They just stick these great. I mean, I remember seeing this and just thinking it was so absurd.
So naff.
Wow.
But
That's
yeah,
great.
came with a little label sheet, which I have yet to affix to my Bishop figure. There is so much to delight in this toy, in this presentation of a toy. Okay, because it comes with, as we've already established multiple times now, stickers that you can place yourself. It also comes with a Dark Horse mini comic.
Oh, wow.
Hey,
Oh, that's
all
like rolled up and hidden. I never knew
rolled up
that.
and well, not quite hidden. I mean, you can see it, and they do advertise it on the packaging. But like,
Gee,
Bishops happens to be
totally
the
missed
first
that.
one in the series, and it's fairly rudimentary, but it gives you like a nice idea of how to play with these toys. Just like an
That's
old
brilliant.
He-Man pack-in
Yes.
comic book. Like you
Yes.
got a little adventure to kind of kick you off and get you
Especially
started
because
and
you weren't
immerse you
allowed
in
to
the
watch the
world.
movie as
Yeah,
a kid.
exactly.
And you know they had pitched a cartoon series, but the toy line got greenlit and the cartoon series did not. So these toys do not have a direct source. Well, they've got the films, but they're not based upon the films. They're based upon the films very loosely. Like they've got an Apone, they've got a Hicks, they've got a Hudson, they've got Ripley, but like none of them are like their film counterparts.
Oh, no.
These
Because-
would have been
Because Apon's alive. And so is
so is
Drake.
Hudson, so is Drake, Vasquez, everyone. But Bishop is like full freaking minigun toting cyborg badass.
Say hello to my
Okay.
little friend. Yes.
That gun is huge. My
It's
And what's the feature
enormous.
there? Do you pull the chain through or something? Does that make the minigun spin, or how's that go?
oh, you turn it.
Turn it and it feeds through.
Oh, okay.
So the ammo, the bullet belt feeds through, and it only goes one direction. So it's clearly got a nice ratchet to it. It has a little clicky click as you turn it.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Bit of
So
an
it's got a
audio
bit of that
sensation
sound.
there.
Okay.
It comes
nice.
with an additional accessory, which is sort of it looks like a cattle prod. Don't they use cattle prods
Yes.
in Alien 3?
They do. They also
Mm-hmm.
use them in the game as well.
Right, so it's got some precedent. And I'm very cautious with the minigun because this is kind of a swirly bronze plastic. So it's likely that the handles will break off. But like a hidden feature that I didn't know about this action figure was you can pull him apart.
What?
Oh.
It's like blown up. Oh my word.
Yeah, because it's an android. That's
You
brilliant.
said that's a hidden feature. Why hidden? Does it not show it anywhere on the box at all?
No, it does. It's definitely indicated on the box, but I didn't know about it.
Oh,
it's not something
okay,
that was
so it's
evident to me
obscured to Steven.
until I
Are you
until I
looking at
started
the-
looking at
Obscured from
reviews